Tarki, struck directly by Medium's thunderbolt, collapsed to the ground screaming. Medium, turning to Azadin, sighed with relief. Phew. It's quite difficult to control the power to avoid killing someone. Mission accomplished, though. Isn't that great? Medium then stumbled slightly. Azadin quickly moved to support her, asking with concern, "Are you okay?" "Sorry, it seems I may have overworked you." Medium, attempting to brush it off with a laugh, responded, "No, a bit of rest and I'll be fine. Daughters of Ethar aren't so fragile." Meanwhile, Tarki struggled to stand, smoke rising from his body as the dead spiders oozed out. Azadin observed quietly, pleased that the thunderbolt had effectively expelled the spiders. Tarki's eyes burned with an intense mix of rage and shock. Sweat dripped from his brow as the tension in the air thickened, signaling a pivotal change. Both Azadin and Medium watched Tarki, who, noticing their stares, asked in confusion, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Azadin replied tersely, "Don't look at me with those eyes, you bastard." Tarki, misunderstanding, pointed at Azadin and retorted, "Is that not an insult?" On the sidelines, Ismail, annoyed at seeing Medium close and seemingly content with Azadin, suggested darkly, "Now that the petition is done, shall we kill him?" Tarki, hearing this, panicked and exclaimed, "What, you brat? Yuk!" Despite Tarki's shock, he was debilitated from the thunderbolt's aftereffects and felt powerless. Even if a child attempted to kill him now, he would be defenseless. Azadin intervened, "Ismail, don't talk nonsense." Ismail, frustrated, countered, "His petition was granted. Can we not take his life now?" Azadin firmly denied Ismail's suggestion. Looking towards the sky where Emperor's voice lingered, he explained, "A petition made with a gold coin isn't just a spell. It's granted only when the petitioner has a sincere need. It's not merely activated by tossing a coin into a triangle. The Emperor's voice assesses the petitioner's intentions before deciding. If not, the Holy Knights or a heretic hunter from the King's Church could exploit it to trap heretics." He continued, looking back at Ismail, "Once they become our petitioners, we commit fully to their cause, even beyond the completion of the petition. It's not right to consider taking their lives immediately after." Azadin confessed he had provoked Tarki into making the petition, not expecting him to actually do it. Despite his dislike for Tarki, the success of the petition before them meant it couldn't be ignored. Ismail, completely exasperated, announced, "Anyway, I guess I should leave now." Azadin acknowledged his departure and then pondered, "I need to deal with the spider mercenaries roaming the village, or this droopy-eyed brat will nag again." Suddenly, shouts rose from the north gate, "King's Church! The King's Church has arrived to save the people. We are finally safe." As the group of soldiers approached from the north gate, Azadin, judging by the echoing cheers, surmised that a rescue team from the nearby King's Church had arrived. Relinquishing his pursuit of the spider mercenaries, he summoned his harem goat. Turning to Tarki, he said, "The petition was granted, petitioner. Do you have any additional requests? Please, nothing foolish like asking to be made a count." Tarki, visibly intimidated by Azadin, replied cautiously, "Let's flee from here. Once the King's Church starts their investigation, they'll discover my involvement with the mercenaries. We should find a place where they aren't." Acknowledging Tarki's plea, Azadin consented, "All right. I can't allow a petitioner who has given me a gold coin to die at the hands of the King's Church." Both Medium and Ishmael looked annoyed by Tarki's request. Eventually, the group reached a farm and sought to rest. Tarki, in a loud voice that betrayed his former status as a knight, called out to the farmers, "Hey, we are traveling and wish to rent your farm, so accommodate us accordingly." The farmers, frozen with fear at the sight of Tarki, were uncertain of his intentions. Scared, the farmer and his wife inquired, "What exactly do you want?" Medium and Ishmael quickly intervened to quiet Tarki and prevent further intimidation. Azadin, who had covered his face with a helmet to avoid recognition, stepped forward and clarified, "We simply need a place to rest." He then offered a silver coin, suggesting a barn or shed would suffice. The farmer, relieved and grateful upon receiving the silver coin, responded warmly, "If it's just that, feel free to use it. We have farm work to attend to." Azadin expressed his thanks, then Tarki, approaching him, asked skeptically about the barn, "How can we use it if they're raising pigs there?" Azadin, unfazed, retorted, "Are you being lazy?" His tone hinted at frustration as Tarki continued to complain about the conditions. Azadin then opened the barn door, causing Tarki to flinch at the noise. As he entered, Azadin turned to Tarki with a pointed remark, "There's a reason for everything, including why a noble like you is with us, right?" Embarrassed, Tarki's face flushed red as he muttered a defense, but Azadin cut him off, gesturing him inside while quipping, "Think more deeply about life, you bastard." Tarki protested, "I have a name," to which Azadin coolly replied, "Yes, bastard." Once inside, Mediam and Ishmael managed the goats, tying them up on the ground floor of the barn while planning to sleep on the second floor. Azadin started inspecting the hay, prompting Tarki to worry about sharp objects. Azadin dismissed his concerns. "Compared to the spider you had in your stomach, this is nothing." Tarki lamented, "I can't sleep in a place like this," his discomfort evident in the rustic setting. As Mediam settled next to Azadin, she curiously inquired, "By the way, Azadin, what kind of place is the king's church? I noticed today that people are both welcoming and fearful of the knights." While pressing the hay beneath him, Azadin explained, "Originally, the king's church was established as a holy knight order tasked with protecting the populace from the curt gods and monsters, and to uphold the 8 kings' laws. Lords, preoccupied with their own territories, required holy knights who had no estates of their own to safeguard their realms. Although it began with such noble missions, the king's church has now become thoroughly secularized." He continued, "There are mainly 3 types of people who join the king's church. First are the criminals, those of noble descent who have broken royal laws but can avoid punishment by entering the church. Second, the power struggle exiles. During internal family disputes, especially when inheritance is at stake, it's not uncommon for non-inheriting children to be targeted by assassins. These individuals often join the church to escape death. Third are the illegitimate children. They can wield white magic due to their noble blood, but are excluded from inheritance battles, leaving the church as their only refuge." Azadin sighed, adding, "Thus, the church has grown powerful, becoming a source of conflict. It requires substantial funds to maintain its holy knights, compelling the church to extract these resources from the king and the nobility. As they've grown stronger, they've increasingly meddled in noble succession wars. Consequently, what was initially viewed as a heretical sect gained formal recognition from the 8 kingdoms as the Rescue Knights. Given that fallen nobility and illegitimate children were only being sent to the king's church, there was a risk of power becoming too centralized there. Therefore, another type of holy knight was necessary to balance this power." Azadin paused, noting Tarki's earlier complaint about the sleeping arrangements. He then turned to Mediam, suggesting, "Let's try to get some sleep. You need to rest," to which Mediam agreed, nodding silently. The scene shifted to a forest near where Azadin's party had sought refuge on a farm. The dull thud of armored boots hitting the ground echoed through the trees as a knight clad in silver armor and a blue cloak, reminiscent of Sir Zebek, led a group of 5 trainees, each armed with bows and arrows, poised to strike at any sign of danger. One trainee voiced his frustration, "Sir Kazrak, I thought this was to be a hunt for monsters. How much longer must we continue?" Sir Kazrak responded sternly, "Quiet. If the beasts hear us, they'll flee." The trainee, clearly annoyed, countered, "Excuse me, sir, but our gear is noisy enough as it is. Surely the creatures are aware of our presence. We haven't spotted even a rabbit, right? Let's head back, have a drink, and relax a bit." He was interrupted by another trainee who chimed in with a laugh, "But sir, your daughter is exceptionally beautiful." A third trainee teased, "Really? Can it be that our own superior might fall for us due to our bravery?" Another added, jesting, Right. Love freely, it's bound to happen." Sir Kazrak, dismayed by the frivolous chatter, rebuked them, "Enough of your foolish talk. Focus on your training." Suddenly, a strange noise from above halted the banter. Sir Kazrak, pale with shock, gestured for silence and cautiously approached a bush to investigate the source of the sound. Peering through, he spotted a creature with formidable claws, wings, and a tail, a wyvern, albeit a small one, but no less dangerous. The trainees, gripped by panic, began to loose their arrows haphazardly. Sir Kazrak shouted, "No, wait." But it was too late, the flurry of arrows had already been launched. The wyvern agilely climbed a tree to evade the assault and vanished from view. One of the trainees, observing the creature's escape, remarked, "It's a wyvern, so why isn't it flying?" Sir Kazrak, watching the retreating figure, muttered under his breath, "This is a troublesome development." He realized that the presence of a young wyvern suggested that adult wyverns might be nearby, adding a dangerous twist to their mission. He forest's edge, where Sir Kazrak, followed by his trainees, approached the spot where the wyvern had vanished. Suddenly, one of the trainees pointed towards the farmland, exclaiming, "Sir Kazrak, look." Visibly irritated, Sir Kazrak snapped, "What now?" The trainee gestured towards the farmland, saying, "I think that's where the farm used to be." Sir Kazrak's expression turned to shock as his gaze fell upon a farmer who had been struck by an arrow, his wife clutching him and weeping bitterly. Observing the tragic scene, Sir Kazrak cursed under his breath. Then, with a cold and sinister tone, he ordered, "Kill them." The trainees hesitated, visibly alarmed by the command. Gritting his teeth in frustration, Sir Kazrak accused, "The wyvern must have been summoned by them. Why else would farmers venture into the forest? They must be part of a cult." A shiver of horror ran through the trainees as they processed his words. Nonetheless, understanding their orders, they reluctantly advanced towards the couple. One trainee, spear in hand, approached the grieving wife, who trembled with fear. Another trainee, resigning himself to the grim task, drew his sword and ended their lives. Internally, one trainee lamented, "We had no choice but to follow orders." The scene then shifted to a barn where Azadin and his party were attempting to rest. Perched on the barn window, the Emperor's voice suddenly called out, awakening Azadin. Annoyed, Azadin grumbled, "It hasn't even been 2 hours since I fell asleep." The Emperor's voice solemnly declared, 108th Azadin, "Only those who heed the call of justice are worthy of being my heretic."